Good morning, artists. Today we're going to finish our spiderweb printmaking project that we started. If you remember last week, we read a book called Walter's Wonderful Web. And in our book, we talked about how Walter made all different shapes of webs, but he kept messing up and his webs kept blowing away. Last week, we talked about how we can persevere or keep going even when we mess up and try again. And if you remember, at the very end of our story, Walter ended up making the most beautiful web ever because he combined all of his ideas. And plus, he kept practicing. Now, friends, Walter made 4 webs before he finally got it right. So this is the same for us in art. Whenever we're trying new things, maybe you've never done a spider web, or you've probably never done this printmaking technique we're about to do. If you mess up just like Walter did, it's okay. It might take us a few times before we can get it just right. Today what we're gonna do, every person's gonna get a piece of aluminum foil. On your aluminum foil, you're gonna have 4 little tick marks. These marks are going to show where your paper should go. So in a second, we're going to have to lay your paper down. And when we do that, you're going to try to line up the corners of your paper on those black marks. If it's not lined up perfectly, that's okay. Every table is going to get 2 containers of markers. What we're going to do first, friends, you're going to open your marker containers and you are going to pick what colors you want to use. So for mine, I think I'm going to do a light blue, maybe a dark blue, another blue, and maybe some orange and pink. Friends, whenever we do this, you can do as many colors as you want. However, we are sharing our markers with each other. So I'm just going to pick the first marker that I want and lay my other ones back in the container in case someone else at my table needs to use them. What we're going to do with your markers, we are going to draw splotches of color on your aluminum foil. So this light blue is a little hard to see where it's so light. Next I might do some dark blue. This one's a little bit easier. So I'm just doing random splotches of color all over my aluminum foil. If you notice, I am staying inside my little marks because when we lay your paper down, there's no need to fill in your whole piece of aluminum foil. We just need it in the places that your paper is going to go. I think next I'm going to add some orange. I'm not really mixing my colors together, if you notice. I'm just putting them side by side. Maybe you want to do dots of color, or if you just want to color like I'm doing, you can. I'm spacing out my colors, trying to stay where my paper's going to go inside those tick marks. I'm going to add a different color blue. Ooh, this one's pretty. Friends, notice that inside those 4 marks, I'm coloring all of the aluminum foil that is around this. If you leave any places blank or you don't add color, then when we print it, that space is going to be white like your paper. So if you don't want a lot of white, you're going to have to add more color inside of those 4 marks. Adding a little bit of pink to all those spaces. Now friends, when your aluminum foil looks like mine, and you've colored in all inside those 4 spaces, you're gonna raise your hand big and tall. Miss Breeding is gonna come around with a squirt bottle. What I'm gonna do to your aluminum foil, I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna squirt your aluminum foil with some water. When I do this, you might notice that your colors are bleeding or blending together. That's exactly what we want. So I'm going to give it a little more squirt. After I come and squirt your paper, you're going to take your spider web. You're going to line it up at the bottom on your corners. I'm going to lay it down. I didn't lay it down perfect, but that's okay. I'm going to rub on the back of my spider web, really pushing it into those colors. Rubbing, rubbing, rubbing. Now, friends, this is the super fun part. Are you ready? After you rubbed it down, I'm going to grab my corner, peel it up, and you should have a super awesome print on your spider web. Now, you can't print it until Miss Breeden sprays it with water to get your colors blending. I hope you have fun with this. Pick what colors that you want for your design. Draw them out inside of your marks. Raise your hand. I'll come spray your aluminum foil, and then you can print it, peel it, and we'll get to take these home.